Hello. What's up, guys? I'm here with my YouTube reaction from the takeaways to article readings number 2 for Dr. McGraw's class. Basically, in strategic communication imperative, what I really found interesting about this, or how it breaks down to me, is that essentially that the organization, we kind of discover what the exigence is, what the problem is, or maybe perhaps what our goal is. We define that, and then we collect data. We kind of take account of who are all the major players, who feels a certain way, what's their stand. We kind of take it all in and digest it, and then with this data, with this collection of intel, we make the best message that we can, so that we kind of put our message into nice kind of, if you will, bite-sized pieces that are reorganized, where basically essentially the message is easily understandable, easily just to kind of get right off the bat and take into account. I really think that this is important because essentially that this does several things that allow us to basically, there are imperatives to strategic communication, such as, building and then continuing to increase your credibility. When an organization is viewed as credible, their message has weight. People receive that. So and there's little things like that, like where there are internal things where we kind of look in at the organization and change. Maybe there are regulatory kind of imperatives where the playing field is different due to, a law or something like that, where now like regulations have changed and we need to change our message as well. If you have strategic communication, you're always able to adapt and move forward. And understanding the power of communications, I really like this because ultimately my key takeaway here was what one person thinks about you is not important, but what everyone thinks about you is relatively the meat, is what is probably real. What everyone thinks about you is probably how you really truly are and what your message is, or how effective it's going to be in the market. So that was just kind of like that. Positioning is basically the defining of your kind of organization or nonprofit, idea. Basically establishing what the message is and who it is and who's against it, who's for it, and what people think about you. It's just really kind of pushes the importance of kind of clearing up the muck and getting it refined and clear, your message, so that it isn't skewed in any way and that you're able to make this much progress with the most amount of time. Very, very interesting. The role of a brand is basically, I think, what sets the good organizations apart from kind of the rest of the crowd. You can really start to like pick out things like, especially like in nonprofits, when you have your brand established, you are basically essentially saying, I want to develop a relationship with you. I want to like push forward, and that we're kind of in this together, which kind of makes you feel comfortable. When you think about profits like Red Cross, Habitats for Humanity, their fundraising abilities are just so much more adequate because of the associated relationship that the general public relates to that. Basically, the 8-word mission is to get the mission in just 8 words, get it dumbed down, boiled down, basically what essentially like kind of the whole like narrative of everything that it's been talking about. One that I really liked was using like, what's the best way to get there? Is there anything else we should be doing to accelerate the path? And kind of like when you have an 8-word mission and it's just boiled down to where you know what your goals are, what the essential definition of what we're doing, it allows you to really kind of see the progress or the pattern. here of how we can move. Are we getting there? Are we attaining it? Could we be doing this faster? Are it's just kind of, it's very, very fascinating. And basically, it's essentially kind of stating that in order for strategic communication to really take an effect, organization, you need to be organized and kind of have the prime directives already kind of loaded and moved through internal communication. Has got to be there. Everyone has to be on the same page essentially and know what they're working towards. Thanks, YouTubes. Thanks, Doc McGraw.